In this lesson, we're going to focus on being able to translate words into mathematical statements involving addition and subtraction. It's helpful for us to know what words we should look for that will help us to know that the operation is addition or that the operation is subtraction. So I've made a table for you, and in the first column, I have the words using variables like A, B, etc. In the second column, I've actually used numbers or digits. And in the third column, I've written what the mathematical expression would be that it would translate into. So let's take a look at the first one. The sum of A and B, or the sum of, say, 4 and 9, sum tells me to add. Plus also tells me to add, so 12 plus 8, I would simply write 12 and then the addition sign and then 8. If it's increased by something, A increased by B means that a number is being increased by 7, so plus 7. Notice this one, the values are in a different order, so B more than A. 2 more than 11 would be, starting with 11, I'm going to add 2 to that, so 2 more than that. And then the total of A and B, total would again mean addition. Words that mean subtraction are difference. We talked about that one already. So the difference of A and B, 12 minus 4. And again, I just want to point out that addition, you can really add in either order. That is the commutative property, and you're going to get the same value. There is no commutative property of subtraction. So on subtraction, you have to be very careful that you're putting the correct number first. So the difference of A and B, for this one, we're going to just, whichever value they give us first, we're going to write it first. So 12 minus 4. A minus B, again, they're giving it to us in the proper order already. This one is a little bit different. B subtracted from A implies that we're starting with A. So 8 subtracted from 13 means I started with 13 and I'm taking 8 away from that. So 13 minus 8. So this one's in the opposite order. A decreased by B, again, that one is in the correct order, but the last one here is not. B less than A, again, implies that I'm starting with A, and then I've got B less than that. So 11 less than 19 means I started with 19 and I'm subtracting 11. Let's try a couple of these. We're going to translate these into a mathematical statement, then we're going to simplify, and simplify just means to find the result. So 14 more than 72 implies that I've started with 72 of something and I'm adding 14. So this would be my mathematical statement. If I were to then simplify, again, I would write these by stacking them. Take the 2 plus the 4 to get 6, the 7 plus the 1 to get 8. So my simplification would be 86. On my second example, the sum of 12 and 99, so 12 plus 99 is the statement. To add them together, I would stack them and add the appropriate columns. 2 plus 9 is 11, so I'm going to carry the 1. 1 plus 1 plus 9 is also 11. And on this one, I don't have to carry the 1 because there's no other values here, so I'm just going to write 11. And so my answer is 111. So the expression and the result. Here are a couple more for us to try. 9 less than 25. Again, this is one of those that is in the wrong order. So that means that we're starting with 25 and we're taking 9 away. So that would be 9 less than 25. Again, if I needed to simplify, I would take 25 minus 9. I can borrow from the 2 and then find 15 minus 9 since 9 did not come away from 5. 15 minus 9 is 6. 1 minus nothing is 1, and so the result is 16. The sum of 87 and 12, sum implies addition, so 87 plus 12. And again, if I needed to add those or simplify, I'm going to add 7 plus 2 to get 9, 8 plus 1 to get 9, and so to simplify, I would get 99. Here are two for you to try on your own, so press pause. Try them both and press play to see how you did. For my first, I have 12 increased by 15. Increased by implies to find the sum, so 12 plus 15. To simplify, I would add 12 and 15 together. 2 plus 5 is 7. 1 plus 1 is 2. So 27 is my result. And the second one, the difference of 4 and 2. Difference means to subtract, and I'm going to take 4 minus 2. Again, 4 minus 2 would be 2. If you need to write it out like this, you're welcome to do that. Here's another application, and this is involving being able to read a table. And so notice in this table, they have given me the values above the bar for each year. But this table gives us the number of robberies by year, according to the FBI. So we are to find the increase in the number of robberies from 2004 to 2009. So we're finding the increase. So we're saying from 2004, the value was 401,470. 2009, it was 408,217. Now we're finding an increase, but that doesn't mean that we're going to add these together. So if we're trying to find the sum of the two, we would add them. I want to know really what's the difference between this value and this value. So to find the increase, I first am going to have to subtract. So I'm going to take 408,217 and subtract 401,470. 7 minus 0. For the second one, I will have to borrow. So 11 minus 7 is 4. 1 minus 4, I'm going to have to borrow again. So that turns into a 7. So 11 minus 4 is 7. 7 minus 1 is 6. 0 minus 0 is 0. 4 minus 4 is 0. So the difference between the two values is 6,747. This is a story problem, and whenever we do a story problem, we're typically going to write a sentence. So I would write the increase in the number of robberies from 2004 to 2009 is 6,747 robberies. Here's one for you to try. So try this one, then press play to see how you did. This is very similar to the last question that we did, but now we're finding the decrease in the number of robberies from 2006 to 2009. And that simply means that in 2006 the value was higher. However, we're still going to find the result in the same way. So I'm still going to find the difference between the values those 2 years. And I'm just going to make sure that I write the larger number on top. So I'm going to write the 449,803 on top. And in 2009 it was 408,217. Again, I'm just finding the difference between these two. So 3 minus 7 doesn't work. So I have to subtract or borrow. I can't borrow from a 0. So this is our first one like this. I can't borrow from 0, but I can borrow from the 8 and make it a 7. And that turns 0 into 10. Now that allows me to borrow from the 10 to turn it into a 9 and use the 1 on the 3. So essentially I've borrowed twice in a row. So 13 minus 7 is now 6. 9 minus 1 is 8. 7 minus 2 is 5. 9 minus 8 is 1. 4 minus 0 is 4. And then 4 minus 4 is 0. So the difference between the two values is 41,586. So I'm going to write a sentence, and that sentence will say the decrease in the number of robberies from 2006 to 2009 is 41,586. And that would be my final answer.